Good afternoon, everyone. So, this will be our first discussion for midterm. So, yesterday I posted a module for other class. So, let's just discuss the module. So, this theory is, this discussion is actually connected with Yuri Bronfenbrenner's theory, the structural functionalism. So, according to the theory, we have different levels of environment which also influence an individual. So we have micro, meso. In Yuri Bronfenbrenner's theory, we have microsystem, macrosystem, mesosystem, we have chronosystem. So that is actually a circle. So a circle like this. So sa tunga, pinakatunga is what we call the microsystem, then followed by the other system. So wala na siya nasali diri because chronosystem is very broad. So next topic will be the theory of Yuri Bronfenbrenner, the structural functionalism, so that kumbaga dili ta mawala sa passing para familiarize po nato siya because that is also important. So first, let's talk about families. So families is actually belong to the microsystem, our immediate or a system where we have this face-to-face interaction. We deal with it, we deal with our family members every day. That's why they are the number one source of influence. So we have this census family. It's defined a married couple as a married couple and the children, if any, both spouses, a couple living common law, and the children, if any, of either both partners, or a lone parent of any marital status with at least one child living in the same dwelling, and the child or those children, all members of a particular census family live in the same dwelling. So this is actually both a blended family and a nuclear family. So nuclear family, we have this married couple with their biological children or child, and we have this blended family because, for example, here is the so dari pa siya. So a couple may be of opposites or same sex. Children may be children by birth, marriage, or adoption, regardless of their age or marital status, as long as they live in the dwelling and do not have their own spouse or child living in the dwelling. So blended family is katong may anak sila sa first na partner, then nagbinyo sila balik, then ang iyang partner is may anak pod. So we have this blended family. Dalawa sila ka family which is broken, then nag-unite into one family again. So that's it. So nuclear family or the original family is either, or the census family is either ang anak nila is adopted ba, biological ba nila nga anak, or anak sa iyahang partner lang. For example, we have the single dad and single mom, di ba? So kung ang babae na siya anak, tapos nagminyo siya sa lalaki nga wala pa'y anak, so that is considered as census family. So grandchildren living with their grandparents but with no parents present also constitute as a census family. kumbaga we have these children na patay gud ang mama ug papa, or karing OFW ang mama ug papa, wala sila parents diri sa Pilipinas. That's why si grandparents ang kumbaga ga-care sa ila, nagpadako. So that's it. That is also considered as census family. So let's go to our topic, the structural approach. So a social structure is composed of 3 levels. So in Urie Bronfenbrenner's theory, we have 4 or 5 levels, or kumbaga ginatawag na to og 3 or 4 or 5 ka rings, 5 ka scope. So we have 3 levels. So macro ang pinaka lapad, because it consists of society's ideology and culture, shared beliefs and ways of doing things, the policy decisions, government, politics, and legal. Cultural system and social values, social and health systems, education and recreation system. So, this is actually the widest or pinakalapad ng level, because the source of influence is the society. So, example for this is a city, syudad. So, example ano nga, environment, city, dako kayo siya. So, society's ideology. Have you ever tried na in your area, in your purok, in your own barangay, in your own tribe, the influence is the same. The ideology, the culture is the same, right? So for example, Blaan ka, of course inyuhang area is a traditional society, kumbaga Blaan tribe tanan, or Blaan jud tanan residents. So the ideology, the culture, the ways of living is practice, or nga gina-practice dira every day is the culture and ideology of Blaans. But when we go to the city, which culture is very diverse, diba? Mo na siya sometimes mamanul ta, because it's different environment from ours, or the environment nga atong gikadakan is different from our current environment. So for example, ato Tag City, General Santos City. So dira so iba ang situation dira, iba ang ideology, iba ang culture, iba ang beliefs sa mga tao. Ang cultural system is iba, the social and health system, and especially the education and recreation system is very far from our area or place of origin. For example, shared beliefs. So in city we have different tribes, Muslim, Blaan, Badjao, Ilocano, Ilonggo. So they have this kumbaga shared beliefs, because they are learning with one another's beliefs, culture, tradition. So diba, that's it. So that's why macro system is very wide. Then the policy decision. So iba ang policy decision nato sa atong community, especially for example in the older time, or some of our places, some areas is gina-practice gyapon nato ning datoship, or karing our community is led by a dato, or in any tribes they still have this kumbaga elders, or unsa man ang leaders sa ilahang ginatawag. So iba ang ilahang policy decision on government o politics draa, iba pod sa cities, because cities are very advanced. and the policy governance is very far from ours. That's it. That's why the source of influence is the source of influence is very, kumbaga, very broad compared sa atong place of origin. And of course, the social values iba pod. That's why dili na to maiwasan ang discriminations, because in our place of origin that is normal, but in other places that is deviant. So connect with the nature and nurture theory. Macro system as source of influence nga ma-develop ta as individual, the personality and behavior nga naata is actually siya impact. How? For example, in the city, you can see different crimes nga may tabo sa city. Then time comes, nasanay. Then nay situation, that's why most of us na okay lang mo sa dyansa ng shooting. So kung natay ipapatay basi di ta madakpan. So that's it, our kumbaga influence by the environment. So or other pang other pang types sa personality, like karang kumbaga we have this feeling of madiscriminata. That's why maldita ang uban. So that's it. We have this sa theory ni Simon Freud, we have this defense mechanisms, so which will lead to a certain behavior. And of course, the social and health systems, we have different social and health systems. Sa city, dual daghang hospital, maunsa lang ka pwede ka magkonsulta dayon, but in our place of origin, very kumbaga our health system is very poor, lisod kayo. And of course, the education system and recreation system. Education is very simple, dali lang kayo sa cities, dali lang pud kayo ang recreation activities compare sa ato ang place of origins. So in line or i-connect na to siya sa source of kumbaga source of influence. Balik sa atong na dili siya, I mean dako siya og impact in molding or in developing us. Yan naman, we have this kumbaga we have this wider influence. Mas dako ang influence nga gihatag ni macro system. And of course, the source of influence is kumbaga the source of influence is bigger than the other systems, because it involves a big society. So that's it. So have you ever the social environment or those people nga gikan sa city, mamanol sila pagabot sa provinces. And katong mga gikan sa provinces, mamanol pud sila pag makadto og city, because they have different environments. And that is normal. That is actually normal. Mamanol kita sa tagas nga building, makadto ta og nindot nga city. And of course, karap pa mga taga city, mamanol pud na sila mga bukid. Kumbaga, the is equal. The society or the life is equal good. That's it. So the focus of macro system is actually how how the society influence us, our personality, our behavior, our beliefs, and of course how we deal with others. Next system, we have this meso system. the middle system, made up of relationships between two or more groups of which individual is a member. Quality of the connection is important. Middle structure composed of the individual's immediate community. Consists of relationship between parents and childcare, recreation centers, faith community, and schools. So, si meso system or the middle system or the middle structure composed of the individual's immediate community. Kumbaga, kita og ang atong immediate community. Our barangay, our purok. So that is our immediate community. So our barangay is very far. Kumbaga layo siya og influence, or I mean lahi po siya og influence pag-abot sa ato compared dito sa meso sa macro system nga very wide. Made up of relationship between two or more groups which the individual is a member. Our relationship with different groups. For example, in our barangay, we are a member of member bataog as karing different unions, different groups like PIAP, karing mga basta different groups sa atong barangay. Because most of us has different pamalakad mong gyud sa barangay. There are maybe groups nga nasa inyo nga wala sa mong barangay. That's it. Basta si meso system is the group where you are a member. Your relationship. So, for example, si PIAP og si karang ginatawag na to og karing CYM. So CYM and PIAP has different kumbaga they are different. So one is actually for recreation, for leadership and other which is related to youth, and the other is for spiritual, si CYM. So we have this different influence from those groups. So for example sa CYM, we have this personality kung unsa ta karon because of our group, like ay dili ka hinawayon kay lagi masuko si Lord because you are a member of CYM, or you are acting in line with the group where you are a member because you don't want to be discriminated and kumbaga and be judged. Especially in Philippines, we have this culture na ay teacher ka pa naman, ay mo din ang members sa CYM, nag-aalagad sa Ginoo pero ingani nga na, and different mo and other kumbaga situations. So we are also shaped by those groups. For example, another example is recreation centers and faith community. Ano to siya? For example. And of course, this school. Member ba ka sa kumbaga PTCA, PTA, teacher ba ka? So, again, si macro system is the beliefs, the culture, ideologies. So mo na siya ang source of influence. Diri kay meso system is ang groups, kumbaga people ang naga-influence sa imuha or ang group, dili culture sa ibahan but the people kung asa ka member. Then we have this micro system, the smallest system. Consists of small groups which people interact face to face, adults, family, workplace, and organizations of which they are members. Children, family, or primary caregiver. Most directly affects the quality of life, nature, and quality are important. So si micro, which is ang gamay, pinakagamay. Kung si macro is ang city, si meso is ang barangay or ang purok. Si micro is ang family, friends, and other kumbaga small groups kung asa ta member. So for example is ang family. So family is dako siya og influence sa ato kung unsa atong behavior, atong personality because of how our parents raised us, or how our parents shape our values, our personality, and others. So si family or si microsystem ang pinakagamay nga system nga dako og influence sa ato kumbaga, especially for example, balik sa atong example, you are iblaan, your parents are blaan, your community is a community of blaan, or whatever religion or tribe you are a member. So di ba the culture, the tradition, the beliefs, the same lang with them. But when we go to bigger community, ma-influence na siya. Or kita ang maka-influence sa atong environment. So that's it. So workplace and organizations is considered as microsystem. Why? Because we deal or interact with them, with other members face to face. So whether you are in the same tribe, the same religion, still kumbaga the interaction is mas direct compared to other systems. Okay, so si micro ang pinakagamay, karang green, meso is ang nasa middle, and macro is ang nasa outer. So the same example for Yuri Bronfenbrenner's theory, the structural functionalism, we have this but sa kung na-remember sa yung theory is baliktad. We have this micro, macro, meso, and chrono system. So si chrono system is mas lapad pa siya aning violet na circle. So we have this strength-based approach. So this approach refers to policies, practice methods, and strategies that identify and draw upon the strengths of children, families, and communities. Strength-based practice involves a shift from deficit approach, which emphasizes problems and pathology, to positive partnership with family. This approach acknowledges each child and family's unique set of strengths and challenges. So, strength-based approach is actually this is a method or an approach which is kumbaga from the word strength-based, kumbaga anything that can make us strong is mo na iyang gina-evaluate, mo na iyang ginagamit. So children, families, and communities. So that's it. So strengths-based approach are founded on the 4 important assumptions. So it has 4 assumptions. Every child, regardless of his or her personal and family situation, has strengths that are unique to individual. So every one of us has these strengths. So maybe it is ability to do something, or talent, or the way we think, the way we control emotions, deal with our problems. So we have different strengths. Children, ang bata man or tigulang, actually we have different strengths. So money lang is an assumption, which is true, but this is just an assumption. Then children are influenced and motivated by the way significant people in their lives respond to them. So tama. So for example, our source of influence is our parents. Kung the way mag-interact si parents sa iyang anak, sa mga anak, like ang support, kung may problema ang anak, active kayo siya maminaw, active kayo mo tabang, then the children will be motivated nga maningkamot. So that's why in this time nga nagamodule ang mga bata, we have to support them because that will motivate them to study harder. Na especially children, maningkamot po na sila og na ay gagayad sila ha. So that's it. Rather than viewing a child who does not demonstrate strength as deficient, we assume the child has not had the opportunities that are essential to learning, developing, and mastering the skills. So rather down daw nga i-consider ingon na to ang bata nga kumbaga yahang wala siya strengths, rather than saying nga for example bugo, rather than saying nga bugo siya, kumbaga dire nga sa assumptions ato na lang i-think nga maybe lacks or lacking sa iyang pagdako, like wala siya gi-guide og maayo sa iyang parents, or wala jud nato siya natarong og guide ato ang children, bugo man na siya. So but in the other side, kita di ang nagkulang. The same with the influence sa environment. Like for example, hilig manghapak ang bata. Hilig mangaway. Then for example, makita din niya halos every night nga nagasumbagan na yang mama ug papa. So the influence is there. Pero wala nato nag-guide. That's why nga na ang bata nga na yung personality. Wala nato ningnan nga mali dayto nga dili dayto tama. So that's it, the guidance. Okay. So especially another is if wala tayo nakita nga strengths sa kabata. In any form, wala tayo strengths nga makita. But kumbaga we have this hidden in other term, we have this hidden talent, we have this hidden kumbaga nakatagong kakayahan, pero wala jud nato siya nakita. Then maybe we have this there is something nga lacking gyud siya, nga wala to siya na develop gyud, nga naman siya passion, naman siya ability, pero wala siya na guide o wala na develop. So that's it. When development planning is based on the strengths rather than the deficits, children and adults are more likely to become involved in their development process and use their strengths and resources. So development planning is based on strengths. So have you ever kinsa tong mga worker na dire nga nakatry og SWOT analysis? So we analyze our strengths and our weaknesses para ma-solve na to nga dili na magdako ang atong weakness compare sa atong strengths, and we will use our strengths nga ma-develop ato ang self, ato ang organization. So nga na. So if we recognize our strength, kung kabalot ta sa atong strength, diba? Kabalot ta kung unsay buhaton para i-develop ang ato ang sarili. So have you ever unsa kaya ang strengths nga nasa ko? For example, sa ko is my strength is actually I know how to deal with stress. So this is not a kumbaga this is also a long process. So for me, I have this skill na I can manage the stress. So of course, in my own opinion lang, I have these skills na. Of course, we have this kumbaga influence from our environment. Nakaagi man gid tag tambag-tambag, no, which is actually an influence from others. But actually for me, every stressful situation I ignored it. So I learned that during my time as the JSWAP officer, the JSWAP president of MNG. So a lot of stress, but rather than magpaka-stress pug ka, I am not recommending it because maybe it will have different result. But for me, I ignored it. And rather than mag-stress ka, think for another option. Think for possible solution. So daghan kayo og mga challenges. So for me, that is my strength. So kita naman gid tay different strengths. So maybe some of us, we have these strengths sa stress management, but some of us wala. That's why ang uban ma-depress, ang uban magka-anxiety, basta ma-depress ang ana, because they do not have these enough skills when it comes to stress management. So, and other strengths, physical ba na siya, emotional, psychological, and of course isang financial. Char lang. So we have a lot of strengths. So then this nabasa naman guro niyo ni, so just study about this. So that is that's all for this afternoon. So good day everyone. So anyway, on the next class we will discuss the structural functionalism of Urie Bronfenbrenner para dili tayo mawala sa passing or continue sang ato ang pag-discuss sa theory. So good afternoon everyone.